Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
Will you be home for Christmas this year?
I will be home for Christmas this year. Dude, this week we're talking about probably one of my favorite Christmas movies that I know gets a lot of hate. But there's just... Listen, I was born in 92. The 90s to me are the quintessential, like, Christmas movie years for me. So a movie that just screams 90s to me is the movie we're talking about today. And we're talking about I'll Be Home for Christmas, starring the always gorgeous JTT himself, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas. So I remember when this movie came out. I'm a little bit older than you. I was in elementary school, and that was the prime time for a little thing called Time for Kids. And it was Time Magazine's like elementary school focused magazine that they would ship out to schools. And it would be like history stuff. That's how I first learned about the Titanic, was like Time for Kids ran an article about them discovering the Titanic at the, like, finding the Titanic location. And they definitely did an episode about this movie, I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Like a behind the scenes type deal?
A little bit of behind the scenes. They also would do a weird thing where they would have like script clips. Like it would be like a scene from the movie in script form. I don't remember too many details, honestly, about what those were. And that's fine. That's totally fine. Like, but I wanted to see this movie. Like, this was a movie that I wanted to watch.
Yeah.
And I didn't get around to it. And then I forgot that the movie existed entirely. Like, just brain dumped out of my head, had no clue that this movie existed. And I was at a Friendsgiving at someone's house, and they had put this on. I guess it was on Netflix at the time. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I remember this movie. I never got around to watching it. And I was only seeing it in bits and pieces. But this, for me, was a pandemic movie. When the pandemic hit,
really,
the first Christmas in the pandemic was when I was like, I am going to try to watch all of it. All of the Christmas stuff that's at my fingertips, I'm going to go for it this year. I'm trapped in the house. I'm not going to see anybody. Like, let's just get Christmassy as hell in this bitch. And this was on Disney Plus, and I watched it, and I think I watched it twice that year. I've watched it twice the previous year. Like, this very quickly was in my, like, I like this movie.
Fuck yeah, dude. It's just a feel-good jam. Like, it really is.
Now, I can understand if people don't like this movie because Jonathan Taylor Thomas's character for large portions of the movie is unfucking bearable. But that's the point. Like, he's supposed to be... You know who he reminds me of? First of all, I have to remind myself that he's at, like, a weird private high school, because he's not in college in this movie, is he?
He's not? I thought they were at college.
Maybe they're at college.
I'm 90% sure they're at college. Hold on.
Either way, this might be the only time where they undercast it instead of overcast it, the characters.
What? They're California boarding school.
That's what I mean. Like,
but they're... and I understand that, like... They're over 16, but some of these kids are driving cross country. Like, is that a normal thing that high schoolers do?
So beyond that, we'll skip over the fact that the logical leaps of like a 17-year-old driving.
I do need to talk about this movie from the beginning, but we can start here.
But we're going to start here because Jonathan Taylor Thomas's character is introduced to us, and what he reminds me of the most is like Ryan Reynolds circa Van Wilder.
Okay,
like,
100%.
Just this like too cool for school. You kind of want to like him.
Yeah.
He can make anything possible, but you can also tell that he values himself over every other person on the planet in such a dramatic way.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's kind of rough to deal with. But yes, let's even go further back, because I think you and I have talked about this before. I know that this motherfucker loves an animated credit scene.
Hell yeah, dude.
Movie.
So did this, I can't remember, did this movie, what is the song playing during? Is it Happy Holidays? Is it Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays by NSYNC?
No, that's the closing.
That's the closing.
credit song.
Okay.
I do not remember what the start of this one was. I know that at some point we get. I know a couple of songs that pop up in it. I genuinely don't remember the intro. I watched.
Dude,
this
we got
3 or 4
fucking
days ago.
Aqua in this movie.
Whoa, no,
like,
no, you pause. You pause because we are gonna get there.
Yeah. Okay.
in
All
a
right.
second.
Sorry. So we
I have the
open.
weirdest, creepiest note I think I've ever written in my entire
All
life.
right,
because
save
of
it,
that.
save
So
it,
we'll
save
save
it.
that.
All right, so we open up a fantastic animated credit sequence with basically just a white circle wearing a Santa hat that is just making its way from name credit to name credit. And then we start on college boarding school student Jake Wilkinson, who is played by Jonathan Taylor Thomas. And I believe we begin with him going to see his girlfriend.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, so he's going to see his girlfriend. Matt, how familiar are you with like seeing foods in movies and you're like, God damn, that looks good. And then you like try it and you're like, that was not as good as I anticipated.
I would say honestly, more often than not, it's cartoon food.
Yeah, okay, I can get behind that.
Like I have said this, I think before, but there is no pizza that looks as delicious to me as the pizza in a Goofy movie where the cheese is like stretching from slice like across the room.
Fuck,
and you're just like,
dude.
oh, that looks so good and cheesy.
Leaning Tower of Cheese.
Fantastic.
Dude, Teddy says that shit all the time. Cracks me up every time. 10-year-old Dylan Lyles really wanted to try Cherry Crunch Power Bars. Like, for some reason. So he knocks on his girlfriend's door, and for some reason, her dorm mate is just not letting him in. I don't think they ever established why, like, just for the fact that she doesn't like him. So he basically was like, I've got these power bars, and she's typical jock. So she's like, are they Cherry Crunch? And he's like, would you expect anything else? And I will tell you, I've lost nights of sleep thinking about those Cherry Crunch power bars, man. And they're not good. They taste exactly what a diet supplement energy bar would taste like. And it's not great. And it's really upsetting. But he goes in and he begins to snuggle with his girlfriend, played by a Seventh Heaven Jessica Biel. Like, we are in the midst of Seventh Heaven, right?
Yes. So we will jump to Dr. Jones for a second. Jessica Biel is someone who I have never. Jessica Biel is someone who I've never actually understood the attraction to. Like, I think she's pretty, but she's never been like one of my like crushes growing up. But I will say that Jessica Biel to me has never seemed cuter than when she is singing Dr. Jones in this truck. She is in such a like adorable like it's not like, oh, I'm attracted to this what is supposed to be a 17-year-old girl, but it's like attracted to like
let's take that clip and
yeah, let me dig myself out of this hole real quick. I've talked about this before with like the American Pie movies.
Yeah.
I think because relationships are not a thing that I've been in very frequently, there are like these moments that represent to me what a good, fun relationship is.
Yeah.
And like part of that is like singing stupid songs in the car.
Yeah.
So like seeing her give like 110% to this like Dr. Jones, Paige, and Dr. Jones, like, and she's like loving it. Like she's like dancing and singing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, like I would love to be in a relationship with any girl that is like that unashamed to be that weird in a car ride while listening to music.
We get those moments from her a decent amount in this movie. To me, this is the only time Jessica Biel, a gorgeous woman, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. This was the only movie that I was like, oh my God, I have such a crush on this girl. And like throughout the whole movie, even as a kid, and seeing her since, again, absolutely gorgeous, but it never hit the same way it hit in I'll Be Home for Christmas.
And I think part of it is because, and this is maybe just speaking to you and I, she's not depicted as like the hot supermodel. She's very much depicted as like the girl next door.
Yep.
Versus like she turns like 24 and every single movie she's like the girl that walks into the room and every single guy's like falling over themselves to try to impress her. And I feel like it almost like overhyped Jessica Biel,
Yeah.
where you're like, I mean, come on, she's
Yeah.
cute, but
It's the very sweaty Texas Chainsaw remake thing for me, where we're like putting her in a half shirt, and I'm like, to me, that's not Jessica Biel. But
yeah.
whatever, man. So we cut to him. He's waking her up, and it's a very almost sweet moment, and it's revealed that he has booked tickets to, where are they trying to go? Cabo San Lucas. And Jessica Biel's character is like, what the fuck? Like, you know that I go home for Christmas every year. Like, we live near each other. Like, it's never discussed, but they grew up together, or
Yeah.
their families lived near each other.
Lived near each other, ended up in a completely different state at the
Yeah.
same boarding school.
And-
Don't question it.
Yeah.
Don't question why these
Exactly.
two kids from New York are now in a boarding school together in California.
And it's also kind of revealed that Jake's been avoiding going home pretty much since his father or his mother passed away and his father remarried 10 months later. And, you know, I understand his feelings. I totally get them. That being said, dude, stop being a dick, bro. Like, like he is a giant dick to his family for pretty much this entire movie.
The whole movie, he is acting so.
He's acting like his father shit on his mother's grave. Like,
Well, I was gonna say it's very much like, you know, in the Harry Potter books, Harry is so excited to get to stay at school for
Yeah.
Christmas. Jake ain't living underneath the staircase being starved to death.
Exactly. He's
And
not
the dad
going
is
home to
like-
live with Aunt Petunia. All right.
Yeah, like I feel so bad for Gary Cole throughout this
Oh,
movie.
God,
And the
it's
fact that he has to be
heartbreaking.
like, I will give you my fucking Porsche if you just
Yeah.
spend Christmas with me because I
Yeah.
love you and miss you. Like, that is heartbreaking.
Yeah. So we find out that Jake's kind of a scammer. Like, that's his deal, is he scams to make cash. And we see his like little partner in crime. I don't remember his name, but he's on the roof making snow because they're like trying to have a sweet moment with Jessica Biel. He pisses her off. She goes off to a final or whatever. And then we cut to him helping the stereotypical bully gang cheat on a test through the means of beepers. And it's I actually really dig this segment of them throwing the test out the window and him catching it and running across town and doing the whole beeper bit.
So after this movie, there was a series of films that came out, I would say in like the 2000s. There was like a trio of movies about people cheating
Yeah.
in high school and college.
I literally just tossed a DVD of Cheats, I think.
I was gonna
was the
say,
movie,
Cheats is
with
great.
Matthew Lawrence.
Yeah.
And what's his face? Elias from
Elias from Clerks 2 and 3.
3.
And I mean, Nappleby, a.k.a. Martin
Hell yeah.
Starr, early
Yep.
Martin Starr
God,
movie.
I haven't seen that movie in at least 10 years.
But yeah, I would say that movie and Slackers are the two that always jump
Dude,
to
we
my
just
mind.
watched Slackers the other night. That
Slackers
movie's
is so
kind
good.
of not great.
No, it's... Look, tonally, it's
That
a bit
movie
fucked
does
up.
not hold up at
No,
all.
But I still... The parts that made me laugh as a kid, I still laugh at most
I
of
think
them.
I needed to watch that movie by myself and not show it to Teddy for the first time.
Yeah, I don't know why that was a share. That is not a movie I will share with any
So I
human
was
being.
like, "This, I love this movie" as a teenager, and we're watching it, and she's like, keeps giving me these like what the fuck looks, and I'm like, yeah, I think I just really found this movie sexy, and I couldn't get like porn. So
No, me and my friends used to watch that movie constantly. We
Yeah.
would quote that movie like crazy. But yeah, you got to look past the fact that it is not great.
not a
But there is-
2022 movie either.
No, but there's definitely some funny lines in there.
Yeah, for
primarily
sure.
through Jason
Schwartzman.
Segel and the Jasons really
Yeah,
bring
the
the
Jasons
heat.
really carry it for sure. So
But there's this cheating aspect in
Yeah.
the ether of the late 90s, early 2000s of elaborate cheats.
Eddie, who's kind of the leader of this bully gang, but also really dislikes Jake for a reason. Like, so he.
I assume it's because of Allie, honestly.
Yeah, I
feel
think
like he's
maybe
trying
it's
to win
just
over
her. Okay.
Yeah.
So he catches them in the act, takes the beeper, and basically says, like, says some fucking bully line. I don't remember.
Said, "Ooh, I'm a bully."
Yeah, I'm a bully, and type that in. And the bully guys are convinced that it was Jake that did that. So cut to Gary Cole calls Jake. He's like, "Are you gonna come home?" And he's making excuses, yada yada yada. And finally, as Matt alluded to earlier, promises Jake to give him the Porsche that he has been working on if he makes it home Christmas Eve by dinner. Okay?
Yeah.
So
6
Jake
o'clock specifically.
Yes. Jake, being who he is, proceeds to just tell every single person that will listen to him that this is going to happen. Tells Allie that, "Yep, I'm good to go. Let's go home." Does not reveal why he's going home, but let's go home. Basically, the bullies and Eddie take Jake for revenge, knock him out, dress him in a Santa suit, glue the hat and beard to him, and drive him out to the fucking desert. They fucking kidnap him. This is a felony. Like, on multiple fucking levels.
Left him to die. There is a vulture chilling with him when he wakes up.
Yeah, a killer tumbleweed as well.
But then this ends up, not only does he fuck over Jake,
Yeah.
but now he can continue to fuck over Jake by making Allie, Jessica Biel's character, think that Jake has stood her up on their drive back home.
Which,
so
let's
Eddie
say,
rolls in.
so listen, I know Allie knows that Jake is kind of a tool. Duh. That being said, I'm going to assume that this relationship has been serious for a little bit because, again, they grew up together, so it's not like they don't know each other. You're not going to be worried that this guy just dis-fucking-peared?
Yeah, just vanished. Do you remember what song Eddie is blasting as he rolls up to pick up Allie?
No. What is it?
I remember when I was watching this for the first time, I yelled, "Holy shit." Because he rolls up and what is playing out of his car speaker but "I won't be home. I won't be home this Christmas."
That's right. It is. It's fucking
It's Blink 182. I won't be home this Christmas.
Hell yeah.
I was like, holy shit, Blink 182 getting that Disney money.
Yep.
Go you guys. Very proud of them. But yeah, so this is where the movie actually, I think the movie really truly starts in the desert.
Yeah.
Like, the boarding school stuff, take it or leave it, whatever.
Yeah. That's
the
really
road
all
trip
exposition
story,
setting us up for this.
the movie is about the road trip.
Yep.
And, we can jump around to a bunch of different stuff. There's a ton of little set pieces along the way. Jake is both fixing people's lives and fucking up people's lives. They also super glued the beard to his face, so he has
so
to fucking
funny.
rip that shit off.
I love the little shit. I will not say that this movie made me laugh out loud, but there are certain bits that just make me fucking giggle. I love when he pulls the hat and it doesn't come off, and he grabs the beard and he goes, "The beard too?" It fucking kills me. It's little moments like that. It's conversations with his sister, and she's like, and he's being attacked by a killer bumblebee, tumbleweed. But other than that, you get the point. And the fucking elf guy, God, this movie just has so many great moments. It is a moment-to-moment movie, and I dig it.
So we need to talk about Nolan, though.
Yeah.
All right, so Nolan comes into the picture.
This is another moment where I'm like, God damn, that cheeseburger looks really fucking good.
Okay, so I wrote way too much about this. All right, I have so many questions about Nolan eating this cheeseburger in the car. First of all, where did the burger come from? Where he's immediately on the highway but still hasn't taken even the first bite or prepped this burger in any way, shape, or form. He is driving on the highway and there is like a fresh burger as if it came out of a compartment inside the car and placed it on the dashboard. And he's like, all right, now I just got to put my tomatoes and lettuce and ketchup on this thing, so I'm ready to
he went to fucking Roy Rogers, and instead of going through the drive-thru, he's like, give me a plain burger, and then went to all the fixings and put the fixings in a bag. I'll just build this burger on the road.
You're talking to a man who has driven so many places
for sure,
for so long on the road. do you like, even if I like don't get out of my car and I just pull up to like a McDonald's drive through, I'm gonna pull into a spot for just 5 or 10 minutes to just get the thing situated, so I'm not like one hand in it trying to like open the pack while I'm driving.
Or you're ordering something that's much easier to handheld, like
some nuggets and some fries.
Exactly.
Like that's like, dude, this is. Like I was
that burger still looked good,
screaming looking at this on my TV. I'm like, why is he doing this? But also kudos to Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who can outrun a truck, which was pretty cool. But
so Nolan almost fucking hits.
Dude,
Jonathan
when Nolan's he's got his first real line where he just goes, "Oh man, I went and killed Santa."
I think Nolan is definitely one of the best bits in the movie.
He's great.
So we find out that Nolan is a thief and has been stealing a ton of shit, and it's all in the back of the van. So they're speeding, and the cops go to pull him over, and I do love that moment of realization that Jonathan Taylor Thomas has, where he's like, everything in the back's stolen, isn't it? Pull over, Nolan. Pull over.
But he uses his scammer ways to scam his way through this.
Man, he's charismatic as Jake.
Yeah. He's like, listen, man, this is my elf Snow Puff, and like we're donating all these to the children's hospital. And the police officer's like, sweet, I'll accompany you to make sure that this happens.
I just want to see those kids' faces. And this leads to one of my favorite bits when they're like, you're an elf. Well, what does an elf look like? I don't know. Be happy. And fucking Nolan does that goofy ass smile. He does this goofy smile, and what's his name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt does the same exact smile in The Night Before in the beginning when he's trying to play the elf. It's the same fucking weird ass, like whimsical, like it's so fucking strange. So they get to the hospital for what is the saddest moment in this fucking movie.
No, I mean, there's a couple sad moments in this movie, actually. There was a point that got me crying a little bit. But yeah, they're giving, it's all kitchen goods.
Yeah.
That they're giving to this children's hospital, but it's sad. And that's the big thing about this movie that is nice, and it's something that we talk about all the time. Like, the promise of Christmas to us is the opportunity for anyone to turn a new leaf and be a better person.
Yep.
And through this road trip and through all these fucked up experiences, Jake, whose heart is still very hardened at this point, but you're seeing little glimpses of it warming up. His heart is growing maybe one size at that point. It will grow 3 sizes before this tale is over. But so he's touched by the children's hospital thing, even though he realizes that these kids do not want blenders and kitchen utensils.
And
but
he's still a fucking dick on the phone. He calls home, and his stepmother answers and is like, well, they're outside. Do you want to talk to me? And he's like, no.
Yep.
No, thank you. She's like, hey, what's your sweater size? And he's like, whatever. And hangs up the fucking phone. He's still such a dick to this woman that, like, all she does is love his dad. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. That's all she ever did. It's not like she killed his mom.
Yeah. And it's not
there was no evil
they weren't
plot.
having an affair. Like, all we know is that the mother passed and the father...
They got married maybe a little too quickly, but they seem very happy, so it doesn't matter.
Happy, exactly.
Well, but this is like the thing I do love about this movie is like Nolan kind of now has passed Jake on to Max.
Yes.
And now Max is utilizing Jake to win over his wife, Marjorie.
Which I lied. This is my favorite bit of the fucking movie. So Marjorie works at a steakhouse where all the waitresses dress as cows. And it's fucking fantastic. It turns out that Max has cheated on his girlfriend, Marjorie. And the way to win her back is Jake's like, you need to go in there and fucking sing to her. And he does. He goes in there, and Max is such a fucking dumb shit. There's a bit in here where, like, Jake is like, now get on one knee. And he's like, now on one knee. And he's like, fucking do it. Don't say it.
Yeah, he sings her name to the tune of "Oh Christmas."
Marjorie. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
Yeah, it's not, it wouldn't have won me over, is all I'm going to say.
No, it wouldn't have won me over either. But, I mean, I don't know. They seem happy.
It gets to Marjorie. Yeah, they're happy. Meanwhile, though, Allie and Eddie have to stay at a hotel, and the news is there.
This is the moment. This is the moment where I was like, no, fuck Allie.
Yeah. We're underneath mistletoe. You know the international law of mistletoe. If I don't cheat on my boyfriend and kiss you on national TV, you know the cops will arrest me for breaking Christmas codes.
Yeah, exactly. No thank you. This isn't my boyfriend. I'm not going to kiss him under the mistletoe. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. And she, like, kisses him. It's not like a quick, and even Eddie brings that up. I got a little tongue. Like, or no, he's like, it was a solid 10 seconds. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? That was the moment where I was like, fuck this girl, dude. Just go and get your fucking Porsche and drive your ass back to Cali.
But
what?
He can't just let that happen.
Nope.
He has to fake an organ transplant to derail an entire bus
wild.
of people.
Hey, that pastrami sandwich, that looked fucking good too, bro.
Yeah, so he's
Listen,
now taking
I'm ranking
a bus.
This is #1 movie with the best looking food.
Best looking food, but probably the most disappointing to be eaten. But yeah, he commandeers a bus of people and fucks up their trip by making them have to go all the way to Nebraska for a fake organ transplant just so he can yell at his girlfriend for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is, look, maybe it's because I just finished watching all 8 episodes of I'm a Stalker on Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, this is some stalker-ass shit that's happening.
So he gets into the hotel room, whips Eddie's fucking towel off, and is basically like freaking out on Allie. And finally, he shows his hand. He's like, because of you, I'm not going to get home by 6 o'clock. And she's like, well, why do you have to be home by 6 o'clock? And this is the one moment where every, like, smart move Jake has had apparently just fucking explodes out of his head because he's like, what?
Yeah.
Because, like, there are so many reasons you could
That's
come
when
up
my
with.
family has dinner, and, like, that's when they want me there.
Exactly. That's when they want me there. I'm trying to be better for my stepmom. I want to be home for dinner. Like, I'm trying to turn a new leaf. But no, this dumb motherfucker reveals everything. Like, why do you have to be home for dinner, Jake? And finally, he tells her. So she takes his place on the bus, takes off, and leaves Jake and Eddie to kind of wallow. And I like the brief bro moment that they have.
Yeah.
That
I would have been fine if that was the rest of the movie.
That's what I would have loved that. And when I was a kid, I really thought this moment was longer, but it really is 20
like
seconds
2 minutes. Yes.
of them like hanging out, singing a song, and then Eddie's like, "Man, I just can't help you." Like, it just wouldn't be very Eddie, you know?
Yeah, it would be.
He said, "What? If I help you get this car, you'd be cooler than me." It doesn't sound very smart. Doesn't sound very Eddie.
Doesn't sound very Eddie. I'm going to have to use that just to describe someone really cool. I don't know about that, buddy. That doesn't seem very Eddie to me.
Doesn't sound very Eddie.
Hey, do you have an idea for a podcast but don't know where to start? Or do you have an already existing podcast that you want to take to the next level? Well, check out WeKnowPodcasting.com. From concept development to theme music to editing to logos, WeKnowPodcasting.com is a one-stop shop for all things pod. Don't hesitate to hit us up. We're very nice.
All right, so this is my favorite part of this movie, actually. So he throws Eddie throws Jake out of the car.
This movie's a fucking fever dream, dude.
It is. So Jake enters into this Santa Claus race, which there are Santa races. I live near Philadelphia. There's always a Santa race. I don't know if they're always for $1,000 prize.
No. I love the fucking Kenyan Santa.
Yeah, but like, but yeah, like he's attempting to win this race so that he can get a ticket and fly home.
Yeah.
And he does. He actually succeeds. He meets a guy named Jeff, and he beats Jeff in this race.
Yeah.
And this is the part where I tear up a little bit because I do love
yeah.
this. He's got the money. He's got the win, and the taxi driver is telling him that the guy Jeff that he beat was actually the mayor of town, and he wins the race every year, and then takes that $1,000 to buy food for all of the impoverished people in town. And Jake feels bad enough that he's like, "Yo, take me back."
I love Jake's moment of like, "A fucking course it is, isn't it?"
Yeah. But the scene where he's talking to the mayor outside of the house, and the mayor just continues to seem like the nicest fucking guy. He's like, "Hey man, you want me to set up a table,
Yeah.
like a seat?" Like, he cares about this kid.
I think
honestly,
at that moment,
I
I
feel
would have went in and been like, "Yeah, can I use your phone?" And just
Yeah.
call and been like, "Hey, here's everything that happened. I'm seriously, here's this guy's like he can vouch for
he can
everything.
back this up. I'm going to
Like-
be home, but I'm not going to be home in time for
Yeah.
dinner, but I'm going to do whatever it
So,
takes to get home.
Yeah.
Instead, he calls and talks to his sister, who realizes, like,
He's not fucking
even-
around. Like he's this is not a scam. Like he's trying.
he
to get
doesn't
home.
he doesn't care about the Porsche anymore. He could care
Yeah.
less about the Porsche,
Yeah.
which is the other really beautiful scene in that movie, and we'll get there in a second. But he successfully gets there through other shit. He has
Yeah.
to sneak onto the plane in a dog kennel.
Because like so, and this kind of goes back to like the $1,000 thing as well. Like I mean, I know this is pre 9/11. But like it sounds like you definitely need some form of identification to get on an airplane.
Yes.
Like even if he had the money, it seems like he would need
Yeah.
some form of ID to get on.
Ticket
a plane.
purchased, had the access code, had everything else, just
Yeah.
didn't have a driver's license or photo ID to prove who he was. So
Yeah.
yes, he has to sneak onto the plane. He flies with a dog, and
That's like I love that moment.
Yeah,
He's
hides
like,
on a
"Nice,
train,
Ringo.
hitches a
Nice
ride."
Ringo.
But then, yes, he steals a one-horse open sleigh from the
Yes.
local parade, which I do love that there's just this giant Christmas Eve parade happening. But he stops and he apologizes to Allie, and he gets the sleigh to his house at
this is a great
5:59,
moment.
and he intentionally waits until after 6 o'clock to prove that he is there, not for the Porsche,
Yeah.
but for the family. And even when the dad's like, "Hey, man, like it's just 1 minute late, it's not a big deal," he's like, "No, I'm here for you."
Yep. And
Like,
he's like,
it
we got a couple more summers and Christmases to work on this car together. It's a sweet moment that like when he looks at the fucking stepmother and goes, "My sweater size is a whatever." I wanted to like go, "Well, it's too fucking late now."
Yeah,
It's
I can't
Christmas
sew it in
Eve."
time now.
It's fucking Christmas Eve, bro. What do you think I'm gonna be able to do? Oh
So-
my god.
Let me ask a question, because I've been trying to solve this for myself.
Yeah.
What happened with Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Dude, this dude disappeared. But you know what he's not doing? He's not going all alt-right.
Well, that's what I was
fucking
checking about, because I
losing
was
his
concerned.
mind. Like the other guy from fucking Home Improvement. You know, the guy that played the dad.
Yeah, I just got like, because someone literally, I was talking to them about me doing this movie, and they're like, "Oh, I wonder what Jonathan Taylor Thomas is up to." And I'm like, "Ooh, I almost don't want you to tell me,
So, like,
because I'm so
apparently the
nervous
last
it'll be
thing
bad."
He did was Last Man Standing. Like, so he was on the show for like.
But
4
even
episodes?
then, that was
That was
almost a
6 years
decade ago.
Yeah.
Like,
So
that's a
Jonathan
long ass
Taylor.
time. I do vaguely remember him on an episode of Veronica Mars, but yeah, it's I guess he just don't have to work if he don't want to work.
Yeah. This is fucking weird. Jonathan Taylor Thomas photographed for the first time in nearly 8 years, and this was last year.
Yeah, send me the link. I just want to see, does he still have his boyish good looks?
No, he kind of went the Haley Joel Osment route.
Oh no.
Yeah. What is he doing now? Jonathan
Well,
Taylor
you have to imagine that he probably gets residuals for like Home Improvement reruns, which they're not as frequent as they used to be, but there
Yeah.
was a period of time where they were constant. And I'm sure he gets some type of residuals for like The Lion King and like some of those big Disney movies that he did. So maybe he's just living
now
on...
he sits as a board member on the SAG-AFTRA union?
Oh, maybe. Or he's
That's
doing that.
JTT serves as a board member for the SAG-AFTRA Actors Union. That's fucking wild. But I mean, you know what? Good for him.
Yeah.
Props to him. Well, everybody listening, I hope you've enjoyed your holiday season so far. Like, we are recording this the week before Thanksgiving. I'm actually heading down to Universal tomorrow. Super excited.
Ooh.
And I really, really hope that you guys tuned into the December 9th live stream. So by the time you're hearing this, you either tuned into the live stream and heard our rendition of
A Charlie Brown
Charlie
Christmas,
Brown Christmas,
or
you're going to hear it next week.
Yeah. And then that will be the
And then that
episode
will be
before-
the last episode before Christmas. And then after that, we'll talk about our Christmas.
all that stuff. Listen, life's crazy. I love you guys.
Dude, I
But
love
most of
you
all,
guys. I love
I love
Matt.
you, Dylan,
Fuck,
buddy.
man,
Aw.
dude, you are one of my favorite people. And I think people
Same.
sometimes listen to this shit and they're like, they're just turning this on for the podcast. No, dude. This
is our text messages. I have never had a fight with Dylan.
No.
I can actively say that. We have
No.
never argued.
And there are even moments where, like, if I thought that I have said something wrong, how many times have I messaged you and been like, dude, I hope you didn't take this way. Like,
Nope.
I don't.
Yep.
I'm
No,
like,
not at all.
Yep. Dude, we have a solid communicative friendship. Yup, we're fist bumping in the screen right now. And dude, I can't wait for Christmas. And I'll be home for it, man.
There you go. And I'll be home for Christmas too.
Oh, whoa, oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holiday, have a great, great, great holiday, have a merry, 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 happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.